What's going on, guys? It's your boy Swift, and right now we're gonna interview John, the only guy that top 64 with Blurple. He's gonna be talking about his deck, deck profile, explaining everything and his experience and everything else. So here it goes.
What's up? What's up? It's John Rosario, also known as John the Ranger, representing the Quest Kids. Quest Kids right here. Yep. Made top 64 with Blurple. Could have went longer, but I'm proud of what I did, and I'm excited to share this love.
So this is his deck profile.
So first things first, we got 4 tournament followers. If you don't have ramp or a rabbit or draw in your opening hand, you're usually going to use these to pop to get to that. If not, you could just keep them up if you're playing against red blue, just to ping them for lore, or sufficient trades against like emerald amethyst and stuff like that. Cog, I'm gonna say like second place for MVP for the deck. A lot of techs that people aren't expecting with this card. You could give it self rush if you want to ping those pesky aggro decks, or just being able to bounce this back and forth and giving everything rush is really helpful. Yeah, a really good card. But those are the only 1-drops I'm playing. I'm gonna go 4 Tipo, probably the best ramp in this deck. To be able to play this and ink something that you don't want in your hand. He's basically a fishbone quill or a 1-jump, but from your hand, right? So if you start off with a haze or something, or an Elsa in your opening, and you want to get rid of that for ink to play a turn 4 card on turn 3, so good. Standard 4 Snake, nothing needs to be said. A great card, bounce whatever you need back, trades well. More standard 4 Friends, you know what it does. More standard 4 Fox, you know what it does.
That's the GOAT right there, bro.
Something a little different, not so much, but we're running 4 Crabs.
Oh shit, 4.
It's just good for the tempo. People aren't expecting 4, and they're not putting respect on Merlin Crab's name. It puts in a lot of work, and also a 3/3 body gets rid of most stuff. Sings friends when you need it to. A solid card to play on turn 3.
You get rid of locations like nothing.
2. Second place for the best ramp, Mickey, standard. Only 3. You hate to see it late. Again, you can use the Tipo to ink this on turn 2 to get to your 4-drop better. Yeah. We're only running 3 library. Another great card against the control decks. You play this early enough, when you already have enough little guys out, you know, they're not going to know whether to take out this or that. But nice little lore pings, and if you could combo it well, being able to keep this alive, to move this over into the library on turn 4 if you need to, quest, pop it, get 2 cards. The library did a lot of work, especially if you get into top deck mode and you have like 4 cards out. This deck obviously gets you a lot of ink, and then you just drop the library, put all of them into the library, and then it's kind of GG's from there. But library's a great card. Some lists ran both library and Queen's Library. Queen's Castle, I opted for just the library. It was good enough. Only 3 GOAT. Why not playing 4? I don't know. The deck does a lot of chipping damage. So you don't always want to see GOAT. You also just want to be able to draw into the rest of your stuff. So only 3 GOAT. And then instead, 4 Rabbit. Some lists were playing 4 GOAT, 3 Rabbit, or 4 and 4. You could argue Rabbit's the best card in the deck. Some people were questioning all weekend if I had like 6 or 8 GOAT in my deck because of how much. A 6 or 8 Rabbit in my deck. But you just keep bouncing that back and forth, and you'll get to what you need. And I think through testing, I found that like most of the time when I had a GOAT, I would much rather have a Rabbit. So 4 Rabbit for sure.
Why no fishbone quill?
Because you already have enough ramp. I have one more ramp card in the deck. You'll see. It's already a good enough amount of ramp. But now we get into the toolkit, the toolbox cards. 2 Elephant.
Oh.
This card put in work. against the aggro decks, this is the card you want to see, to be able to like take stuff out, rush it with the cog, move 2 damage over, another bounce if you need more bounce, and it doesn't die to Maui straight up. I mean, they don't trade either way, but it could survive Maui, it could survive Zeus, it could survive a whole lot of shit. That's why it's a lot. You don't want a lot of it because it doesn't do too much, and against the control list, it's not going to do much for you. But yeah, two elephant, 2 Donald Duck, basically Mickey's partner in crime. You can see them searching for something right next to each other, but it does the same thing that Mickey does. You can ink it though, 2 lore. It's a nice statted body. It helps you get to 20. And if you could turn 3 this, and to turn 4 this, and then you can start playing 7 drops or even higher. Like, this card's really good. And again, these 2 cards are the same, so you don't have to ink. And so if you just want a 3/4 body for 2 lore, it's great. The MVP of this list of my entire tournament.
Let's see.
Bell, Accomplished Mystic. This card, people are not expecting. Well, a lot of people don't know, and if you just read the card, it would explain the card. But you can move damage from any character to any character. So people just automatically assume that it has to be from your character to an opponent's character.
Right.
You could, I don't know why you would want to, but you could move from your own character to your own character. You can move damage from an opposing character to another opposing character. But I mainly used her to move damage from my character to an opposing character. Quest for 2, a 4/4 body. To be able to bounce this back and forth obviously is really helpful, but she put in so much work, especially with the elephant. He holds so much damage. If you got 5 damage on him, you move that 3 damage to something to kill it, he still has that 2 damage for the start of the turn to ping something. She put in so much work. I'm really proud of
That's Spice, bro. That's Spice.
Card work. And then not so much toolkit, but very much needed for Elsa Fifth Spirit. Probably one of the best cards to come out of this set. She put in a lot of work, especially actually in any matchup, in the aggros, in the mid-range, in the control matchups, when you're trying to just extend the game as long as you can, to be able to toss this down and be able to get rid of a big Sisu or Tamatoa with Crab. Like, she puts in so much work. Really good card. More toolkit. 2 Cusco. You gotta respect red blue. If you could hold off red blue long enough, and then you just Cusco to get rid of their dime, if they're not playing Mufasa, this card puts in work. And then if you're not playing against red blue, drop this down on 6. If you're playing against Emerald Amethyst Tempo, you have that ability to give all your stuff resist. 3/5, good statted body. Yeah, really good card. More toolkit. 2 Yzma. I don't think I once used Yzma for a Tamatoa or a big Cinderella. It was mainly if I ran out of gas, I didn't have any rabbits, or my locations were being killed off. Just being able to, on turn 7, which you could be at by turn 5, to just drop a cog, play the Yzma, shuffle, get 2 cards. Same as Bell, 4/4, 2 lore, and it just keeps your gas going. The final cards: 3 Hades, 3 Elsa. Every list that I saw was running Mufasa, and they were either playing 2 Mufasa or just 1 Mufasa, and they were adding in like an extra card to make it 61 to make place for Mufasa. Through my testing personally, every time I played Mufasa, I was either already so far ahead, or he just like wasn't doing enough right when I played him. So I was like, you know what? I drew inspiration from the Leon winner. I don't know if he won Leon or if he was in the top 4, but he was definitely in top 4 at least. And I took 1 Mufasa out, and then I put in a Hades, and then I think I ended up taking out the other Mufasa for something else. I don't really remember, but I ended up taking out both Mufasas, and it was just 3 Hades, 3 Elsa. At least 3 times yesterday, people weren't expecting the 3rd Hades. Nobody's running 3 Hades, so they weren't expecting the 3rd Hades. And of course, you could just bounce with the Elsa 5th Spirit. Being able to shift Elsa onto this obviously is very helpful, but yeah, these 2 are your late game bombs.
How come no Let It Goes?
My original list did have one Let It Go, but again, I just found it better to have more toolkit cards. It just worked better not having any Let It Goes. Having the Hades were enough. Having stuff that can tap stuff was enough. Being able to move damage, I didn't need that extra removal. And also the metagame right now is slow. This deck should not lose to any aggro deck. It shouldn't, unless you brick. But in those late game like control decks, you're already like chipping all the way there that you shouldn't need a Let It Go to get rid of stuff. You have that Yzma for insurance. You have the Hades primarily. You can tap stuff to keep the game a little bit longer, to chip even more lore. But yeah, I didn't need to Let It Go.
After today's event that took like 8-9 hours, and you got invited to the second day to top 64, is there anything you would change from your deck, or just add or remove?
Yzma did help in certain matches. I could see me cutting the Yzma. That's like the only thing I could see myself cutting. I played 3 red blues. I 2-0'd 2 of them, and I tied with one of them. And if they were McDuck Manors instead of Yzmas, that definitely would have pushed it over. But again, in the matchups that I played, I beat 2 of them, and I tied with one of them. So maybe I don't need the McDuck Manors. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to test some more. But the location, the library itself caused a lot of trouble. So maybe finding room for 1 or 2 McDuck Manors. But yeah, I don't think I need the Queen's Castle for sure.
Okay. Is there anything you would have done differently in today's event?
I would have won my game 3 in my first round of top 64. But no, I do want to let people know that whichever deck you play, whatever you're most comfortable with, you are going to do better with an anti-meta deck that you're more comfortable with playing against somebody who 2 weeks before decided to play red blue or steel song or red purple. My self-proclaimed captain of the Quest Kids, he's a really good player, one of the best players I know. He's a red and blue diehard fan. He was on red purple for forever. He only plays the best deck, and he lit a fire under my tushy to get me to play a meta deck. And I've never played a meta deck. Set 1, I played Ruby Amber mid-range evasive. Set 2, I played Green Fossa. Set 3, I played Amethyst Steel. Set 4, I tried to make Amethyst Steel work. It wasn't working. I gave in and played Blue Steel. I did terrible. And then set 5, up until a week ago, I was messing around with aggro decks, and my captain was like, you need to play a meta deck, you need to do this and that. That was on Sunday. We had the DLC the next weekend. Monday, I go and see my girlfriend. Tuesday, I put this Blurple list together. Wednesday, I don't practice with my friends. Thursday, I see my girl. She's playing Steel Song. We probably play like 3 matches total. And then here comes the DLC. I only have 3 matches on one sort of matchup, and I performed the way I performed because this list fits my play style, and I'm more comfortable with this sort of list, and it shows that you got to play what you're comfortable with, and you'll do really good.
Any shout outs?
Shout out Quest Kids, of course. Shout out the team. Shout out Diego. Shout out Jonathan. Shout out the Goons. Shout out my loving, supportive girlfriend. She kept me sane during the tournament, and yeah, that's it.
Any last words?
Watch out for the Quest Kids. We coming up. We're gonna take a Mickey by Seattle, and follow, subscribe, like, share this. Listen.
Peace.